What's up, everybody? This is Kaleb, your favorite Kung Fu fanatic. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new to this channel, thanks for finding me. This is the official spin-off YouTube channel of my bi-weekly podcast, Kaleb's Kung Fu Cinema, where I cover all of your favorite martial arts films. Before I go any further, I would like to wish everyone a very happy Chinese New Year. It is officially the year of the tiger, so yeah, hope that everyone is staying safe out there. Happy Chinese New Year. We got a DVD review today for you guys. This is our first DVD review video on the channel. It's not an unboxing, sorry, but it is a movie that I got in the mail today, and it's something I've been wanting to get my hands on and talk to you guys about. So the time's finally here. I'm going to be talking to you guys about Another Meltdown, or the Blacksheep Affair. Every time I realize that this is called Another Meltdown, it's so funny. So yeah, anyway, just to give you guys a little bit of background on what this movie is. Yes, the original title is The Blacksheep Affair. Film stars Vincent Zhao, Shu Qi, I believe that's how you pronounce it, I'm sorry, Shu Qi, and Andrew Lin. Basically, without going into too much detail, the Blacksheep Affair is about a Chinese soldier who's played by Vincent Zhao. He disobeys a direct order during a mission, like right at the beginning of the movie, and as punishment, basically, he is they give him a new post. He is sent to a fictional country called Lavernia, and he runs into his ex-girlfriend, who's played by Shu Qi. Excuse me, sorry guys, and basically. Their paths kind of converge into this terrorist plot that's going on with this crazy cult led by a Japanese guy who believes he is the reincarnated Jesus Christ, basically. Yeah, it sounds pretty crazy. This is actually not a bad movie though. It's very underrated, and it was slept on quite a bit whenever this came out. So yeah, next, the obvious question, of course, is why is it called Another Meltdown? Well, basically, this all ties back to Jet Li, sort of. So in 1995, Jet Li did a movie called High Risk, and High Risk was directed by Wong Jing. For those of you who do not know, Wong Jing directed City Hunter with Jackie Chan. That's probably one of his most notable films as a director. Allegedly, the story is I'm not saying this is fact because I don't really know. Nobody really knows the whole story, but allegedly, after City Hunter, Jackie Chan was, I guess, pretty unsatisfied with how the film turned out, and him and Wong Jing had a bit of I'll say a war of words in the media and stuff like that, and I guess in retaliation, Wong Jing, whenever he made High Risk with Jet Li, he created a spoof character of I don't know why I used air quotes just now, but anyway, he created a bit of like a parody character of both Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee in the film. The character's name is Frankie Lone. He was played by Jackie Chung, and allegedly Jackie was highly offended by this. I mean, who wouldn't be though? I mean, it does sound pretty crazy, but anyway, the whole point here is that so High Risk comes out in 1995. High Risk was released in the United States as Meltdown, which also has a horrible DVD cover. I mean, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this cover right here in a minute, but the U.S. release of High Risk, which was again called Meltdown, it had a horrible DVD cover as well. It had Jet Li's head photoshopped on another dude's body, and it had like this like weird blue streak style thing going on in the background of the cover. Yeah, anyway, that was released as Meltdown. And then in 1998, the Blacksheep Affair comes out, and it was released in the United States as Another Meltdown, and it was released in the U.S. in 2003. It was distributed by Sony. So yeah, it was released in the States in 2003 as Another Meltdown. And I don't know why they did this, but you guys can tell, like, from what I'm describing, is that this film was marketed as a sequel to High Risk or Meltdown, and I don't know why they did that. It's so strange because Blacksheep Affair and High Risk have nothing to do with each other. High Risk was I haven't seen the whole thing, but I'm familiar with the movie. Funny story, when I was a kid, my grandparents would take me to Blockbuster every week. And this was a movie that I rented constantly. If I rented it one week and then returned it, I would go back the next week and rent it again. That's how much I liked watching this movie. And this movie is a lot of fun. I'll talk more about that in a second. But anyway, yeah, I would always see Another Meltdown at the Blockbuster in the town that I live in. It's obviously the Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore, but the Blockbuster that was in the town that I lived, I would see the cover art for Meltdown, and it was never there. For those of you who do not know or are not familiar with Blockbuster, what they did is they would have like the cover art for the movie, and then right behind it would be the actual movie, whether it was a VHS or a DVD. But yeah, the Meltdown cover art was always there, but the actual movie wasn't. I guess somebody rented it and never returned it. I don't know, but I never saw it. But Another Meltdown was always there. And so when I saw they had Meltdown, Jet Li being on the cover, I thought, oh great, this is a Jet Li movie. And being the huge Jet Li fan that I am, he was one of the very first 3 martial arts film stars that I grew up watching. So anytime I saw a Jet Li movie, I wanted to get my hands on it. Meltdown was never there though. But I would see they had Another Meltdown, and I thought, okay, well, they don't have the first one, I'll get the sequel, even though this isn't a sequel. But yeah, I would go to Blockbuster and rent this several times. But yeah, anyway, back to the story here. Yeah, Black Sheep Affair. It was marketed as a sequel to High Risk. They called it Another Meltdown, and I really don't know why. It's a very bizarre thing. And then the DVD itself is so weird. It's such a strange thing. So as you can see, we've got our two main leads. We've got Vincent Zhao and Shuqi. Vincent Zhao, this was his 8th film overall, I believe. And he had already made a pretty big name for himself, appearing in stuff like Once Upon a Time in China 4 and 5. He replaced Jet Li as Wong Fei-hung in that series. He was also in a great movie called The Blade. And he was also in I'm kind of forgetting. Sorry. But yeah, he had already done like the Once Upon a Time in China series, The Blade, and Fong Sai-yuk. That's the other movie I was thinking about. Fong Sai-yuk, or The Legend of Fong Sai-yuk, as we know it in the States. But yeah, he was already a pretty big name for doing those films. And so this was his 8th film overall. I had never even heard of him before this, like before I saw this movie. I didn't know who he was, and I'll tell you another funny story in a second. But yeah, much like Jet Li and Donnie Yen, Vincent Zhao was a wushu champion turned actor. He was a highly decorated wushu champion, and even after Black Sheep Affair, he would go on to do a lot of other great stuff, like True Legend, which is a fantastic movie. He's in that. He's great in that movie. So anyway, funny story time. Once again, as you can see, you got Vincent Zhao, you got Shuqi on the cover. If you look right here above the title, you see Shuqi Andrew Lin. Where's Vincent Zhao's name? I don't know. Andrew Lin is the villain of this movie. He's the Japanese guy who I mentioned a minute ago. Believes he's the reincarnated Jesus Christ, and he leads this cult, and they're gonna do this big terrorist attack. And I haven't seen this movie in a really long time. I'm gonna watch it later tonight as of this recording. This is gonna air tomorrow on Chinese New Year, but it's January 31st right now as I'm recording this. But yeah. Anyway, so I thought, as a kid, I thought this was Shu-Chi. I did not, I didn't realize that the girl was Shu-Chi, and no disrespect. I mean, no disrespect at all. It's just, I was a kid. I didn't, and you don't see Vincent Zhao's name on the cover. His name is on the back, like right here in the credits. He's credited as Zhao Wenzhou, which is his birth name, I believe. Yeah, as a kid, I was a dumb kid, I guess. But yeah, I thought he was Shu-Chi. It didn't dawn on me that was that was actually the woman. And then Andrew Lin, when I realized shortly after that Shu-Chi was actually the woman. So I thought, okay, this must be Andrew Lin. And then whenever I was able to, to get on the internet and dive into the history of this movie, I realized that Andrew Lin is the villain. So I thought, okay, why is Vincent Zhao not on the cover or his name is not on the cover at least? It's just so weird. I don't know why they did that. I mean, and even if you read the description on the back, his name isn't there either. His character's name is here, but which I'm going to elaborate more on the character name in a second too. His character name is right here, but it doesn't even have like Vincent Zhao in parentheses. That's usually what they do, right? Whenever they have descriptions on the back. But yeah, his name is at the very bottom credit right here, like I said a second ago. But yeah, I just, me being a dumb kid anyway. But anyway, the cover, again, this cover is horrendous. I do not like this cover. It's so bad because, I mean, if you look closely, you can see that Vincent Zhao has scars on his chest. They're barely visible, but you can see them right there. His head is clearly photoshopped onto what is believed to be Bruce Lee's body. And then Shu-Chi right behind him. She's got like she's got like this tank top on, and she's got like looks like a gun holster strapped around her shoulders right there. She does not look like that at any point in the movie. and yeah, so Vincent Zhao, his head is clearly photoshopped onto what is believed to be Bruce Lee's body. You guys are gonna see a glare on the case. That's my phone. Sorry. And then this tagline is so bad. On this mission, failure is not an option. That's so generic. I hate it. It's funny. There's actually a trailer for this, like whenever it was released, and I remember seeing it. I actually watched it not too long ago, and right before showing another Meltdown title, it had this tagline that said "The heat is back." I didn't know the heat was ever there to begin with, because again, this is not a sequel to High Risk. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this may be a very hideous cover, and they highly disrespect Vincent Zhao by not even putting his name on the cover. And but anyway, the movie itself, I'll talk just really quick about the movie. And I mean, I already told you guys the story, but the movie is not bad. There are a couple of very strange things. There is a certain moment in a prison scene. I'm not gonna I think there's a gnat in my studio. Oh geez. There's a certain scene that takes place in a prison that I'm not going to discuss here on the video because that would be highly inappropriate. But it's got some really good fight scenes. Vincent Zhao, incredible martial artist. And the fight scenes are really good. I mean, the final fight scene is pretty crazy. he's throwing a lot of really crazy kicks. Swords come into play, which it gets even crazier. And one small nitpick about it though is that there's some pretty weird wire work, like, or wire fu moments, as we like to say, where you can tell, like, yeah, he's clearly on a wire. And his character has I'll say a signature move, as where he he throws a crap ton of punches to the opponent's like torso, but they speed the footage up, and it just looks really awkward. I remember thinking it was so cool as a kid, but then growing up, looking back on it, it's like that looked really silly. It's very weird. And before I forget, the Vincent Zhao's character's name. So in the original dub of the film, his character's name is Yim Dong, which I want to say the original dub is Cantonese. This film has English, Cantonese, and Mandarin dubs. I want to say the original dub is Cantonese. I could be wrong about that though. It might be Mandarin. But anyway, in the original dub, his character's name was Yim Dong. And then in the English dub, they changed it to Arthur Dong, which is weird. I don't know why they did that either. There's so many weird choices they made when it comes to this thing. But anyway, on the back cover, his name, Yim, is right there. They spelled it wrong because it's Y-E-M, but if you look the movie up, it was really just spelled Y-I-M. So again, I don't know what happened there. Typo, I guess. But considering that this was the U.S. release of the movie, you would think that they would put Arthur in the description instead of Yim, because I know for sure when I was a kid I was very confused when I would read the description and see Yim and then watch the movie in the English dub and see this guy and everybody keeps calling him Arthur. So, jeez, okay. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this and talk about it. I mean, again, this is a hideous cover, but this movie is a huge part of my childhood. Like I said, I rented it so many times at Blockbuster when I was a kid. This was, whenever I go to Blockbuster, I would always look for either a kung fu movie, sorry, or I would look for a WWE tape, because the Blockbuster in my town that we had, it had a lot of WWE VHS tapes, and they were all like Attitude Era. This was the early 2000s, and but they were all Attitude Era, so I rented those quite a bit, and it was either that or a kung fu movie. But yeah, I rented this at least 10 times, and I'm actually gonna watch it tonight and with my wife and have a fine dandy time with it, because it's a very fun movie, but there's also some stuff to just kind of joke around and laugh at, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show you guys that, so thank you. Don't forget, I'm going to leave a link in the description. You guys can check out my social media accounts. You can check out my podcast. Once again, I host a podcast called Kaleb's Kung Fu Cinema. It's a bi-weekly show. We cover all your favorite martial arts films. I'm actually doing an episode this weekend. It's going to air on February 5th. That's a Saturday. I'm going to have two very special guests in the studio with me. We're going to be discussing the delightfully terrible film Showdown in Little Tokyo. Yes, I think it's a terrible film, but it is a classic nonetheless. I have a huge amount of fun with that movie every time I see it, even though it is pretty terrible. But yeah, anyway, yeah, the link in the description, check it out. You guys can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, and on my Letterboxd, and you can check out the podcast. Of course, like this video, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And yeah, so that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot, and I will see you in the next video.